Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Welcome back, hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Captain Frank LoPreste, and First Mate Kathy Rounds from the Royal Polaris Shogun, talking some amazing fishing. And you've heard it all this morning. It's good now, but you just wait. It's coming.
I don't know.
I mean, there's no guarantee in fishing.
No, there is
That's
no
why
guarantee.
it's fishing, not
It's
catching.
just fishing, yeah.
I don't know what you're waiting for, but I'll take how it is right now.
I'm
No
telling
problem.
you, I'm going to Florida tomorrow to the ICAST convention, and I'm just kind of bummed I'm missing a whole week of good fishing here, you know?
Right.
I can look at a bunch of fishing tackle back there, and, yeah.
Breaking
so,
rule number 1, Pete.
I know.
Driving away from
Don't
fish.
leave the fish to find. I'm looking for tackle, not
Yeah,
fish, right?
you go look at fishing tackle.
Yeah.
Kathy and I'll go look for yellowtail.
Yeah, okay. I'm on with that. Having a great time talking fishing here.
You got it, man. We're having a great show and lots of fun. You want to talk about good information, too. Both Frank and Kathy spending so much time and getting to do all the different things, and there's so much good info to be had. If you want to join it, ask a question to Kathy, ask a question to Frank. We would love to hear from you this morning, and there's 2 ways that you can call us here on Let's Talk Hookup. It's been a very busy morning on the phones, and everyone is packed up solid right now, but there's going to be plenty of shots for you to get through in the second hour here of Let's Talk Hookup. 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. Or you can reach us toll-free. That toll-free number is 877-792-1090. One more time, 877-792-1090. And we're going to be jumping into our catch report right now. It's time to find out what's biting. Today, the catch report is sponsored in part by the report at SatoCrimp&Winder.com. It's Sato Crimp and Winder, where they only make products that work. If you want to end connection failures, you want a very easy-to-use system for connecting your Spectra to fluorocarbon, your Spectra to mono. If you're not comfortable with tying knots, if you want something extremely clean, there is nothing easier.
And reliable.
Yeah, and there's nothing easier than that Sato Crimp system. It's very skinny going through the guides. It's very easy to apply. I know that on the Royal Polaris website, there's a very cool video of Daryl showing how to do the crimp system, and it's very, very clean and easy. If you want a good shot, I know, Pete, you did a very cool video on our Let's Talk Hookup YouTube
With Gary
channel.
Sato,
yeah, so it's a very, very easy connection system to use. It's the favorite connection system for the Royal Star, the Royal Polaris, the American Angler, and most of the other top boats. And if you haven't already, you should make it your preferred connector for Spectra to fluorocarbon or to mono. You can get it at selected tackle stores like Fisherman's Landing Tackle or at SatoCrimpandWinder.com. And let's start off with our FishDope.com reporter to the man, our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, is on the line right now. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Pete and Frank and Kathy. So, get this, guys, here. Now, Pete, when you were doing the intro to the show, you were talking about that amazing fishing, and it certainly is all of that and then some. But as a totally responsible fish dope reporter, I always try to dig up some extra little stuff for you here. So, I'm going to start the report today way up north. I'm like way up north. I was talking to one of my customers up in Washington yesterday, and he was telling me how the albies are biting. There are still albacore around. They somehow got a lock on them up there, but the albies are biting already in early July, only 21 miles off the beach. And get this, they caught a Dorado in July in 61-degree water mixed in with those albies. So we definitely got weird El Nino stuff happening here. But a little closer to home there, Catalina is just absolutely on fire. It looks like the bulk of the yellows that kept us so happy for months out here on the 150 has swam across the channel and loaded up the island there. It's just absolutely the best fishing over there in many, many years. Front side, back side, that island is this loaded. There's schools of little ones around, but the bulk of that big fish that was here local, I think, is over there now. There's a lot of that 20 to 30-pound fish in there also. There's a little area of squid around the back there, Silver Canyon to Salta Verde, that sector. And that's been kind of the epicenter of the fishing, but there's fish in the middle of the back, around the front, up west. There's just a ton of fish at that island right now. It's just good fishing. Offshore, again, nothing short of amazing. Big area of quality yellowfin and bluefin here. It's just unbelievable, just like you guys have been talking for the show there. And right now, a lot of the private boats are overrunning that fish. There's a good strip of water close to the beach, like 3 to 10 off from Newport all the way just about to the border there. And that's where a lot of that tuna fish is holding. Some big yellows on the kelps and occasional Dorado in there. Some of that fish now is troll fish on the Halcos and the Ozuris and the Rapalas and my old standby favorite, a natural cedar pug. But I think this week the best scores were definitely from the guys fishing the island right on top of the spots of breaking fish there. Guys throwing like a Tatty 45 and blue chrome, or even a Tatty 9 or double A heavies, mega baits, Colt snipers, even the stuff you usually are dropping deep but fast winding on the surface. Those spots of breaking fish have really been working well. Just a beautiful grade of fish. It's like 25 to 35. There's a few standouts to 60 and a handful of them tackle busters of 100 plus around. I saw some of them Sundays. I'm going back after them with heavy gear and kite rod tomorrow. But so here's another one for the highlight reel for you guys. And again, this is early July. I had friends that were fishing below the east end of Catalina the other day. They hooked a nice Dorado on a kelp. It was kind of jumping around. And then an estimated 300 to 400 pound blue marlin jumped out of the water and grabbed it and ate it right in front of me.
No way, dude. No way.
So what are you saying? Hook a Dorado and slow troll it for blue marlin now?
You know what? You know, we had a ton of that big fish up here last year, like the really big ones. And the Plains have seen a couple already. And here, you know, this is another one. And, yeah, you're going to be able to slow troll Dorados for blues here, I think, another month and expect to catch one. So
crazy.
How cool.
Yeah, they're you know, and I don't know if you remember that book and movie called The Perfect Storm. There was a line in there. I just love this line. It says, "She's coming, boys, and she's coming on strong," talking about that storm. Well, I think that's what our El Nino's doing, man. It's coming on strong. We're just seeing some really good signs.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, one way to keep track of it is, of course, listening to Let's Talk Hookup and getting subscription to fishdope.com. You can save $20 on a new subscription to Fishdope by using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, one word, no space, Hookup Now, and you get information like this from Mark Wish every day, along with a lot of other reporters there. And how do we find you if we want to come talk about fishing at Pacific Edge?
We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger in Huntington Beach. Phone number is 714-840-4262. The website, PacificEdgeTackle.com, and I didn't get to mention that the sand bass and the barracuda are starting to bite a little bit better for the guys staying close to home, man. It's just
sweet.
Great news.
To go.
That's good stuff. All right, Mark, thanks a lot for that report, and we will talk to you next Saturday.
Hey, Pete.
Yo.
Still getting better and better, buddy.
Next Saturday, can you imagine? Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, you're going to be gone, so we know it's going to be.
I'll be back Friday night. I'll be back for the report. I'll be back Friday night, so don't worry.
Okay, we'll talk to you then. We'll see you guys.
Thanks, Mark. Well, we're unfortunately no Marcos this morning. He's out in the office, but boy, there was some crazy good fishing again this week at Seaforth. And
you heard from Mike on the tribute.
Yeah, the action rolls along. I know Captain Ryan Bosch in San Diego, 211 yellowtail yesterday. And Frank mentioned it this morning. How crazy is it that you can dial up the catch report at C4 Sport Fishing and look at the new Seaforth morning half day? They had yellowtail, they had yellowfin tuna, they had bluefin tuna on a morning half day trip. And I mean, just every day that's consistently scoring fish. It's just been.
I think the San Diego had over 200 yellows at the islands this week. Every day, but Thursday was a down day. I think he only had 110.
One day while I was out, he had 310.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Limits
Unbelievable.
for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Right.
It's crazy to see the great fishing that's going on at Seaforth. Obviously, lots of great trips. If you want to go, just give the boys a call. They are very busy, and we were talking about that. You want to talk about a crew that really is a well-oiled machine. All the guys over at Seaforth, Mike and Mark, and all the guys in the morning and the afternoon. It's just a great group of guys.
But the easiest way to do it is just go online and book it right online.
You basically have access to the same system that the guys do behind the phones.
They're doing the same thing.
One thing I want to mention is John Yamati is one of the owners and manager of Seaforth, and I was lucky enough to get him to write a blog for us.
Oh, very nice.
He's an excellent fisherman, and his favorite thing to do is catch big tuna. And for those guys that are going to be making a 16 to 18-day trip, John did a blog. It's absolutely excellent on puffer fishing.
Cool.
Fishing the puffer is a whole different ball game. And there's times where that's the only way you're going to get a big tuna. So I don't think it's up yet My son will be putting it up in the next couple of days, but look forward to reading John Yamadi's blog on fishing puffers.
That's awesome.
It'll be a
fishing
good,
the Puff Daddy.
Good learning experience.
So it's on the Royal Polaris website?
It's going to be on the Royal Polaris website.
RoyalPolarisSportFishing.com. Again, link that right on the top of the Let's Talk Hookup links page, hookup1090.com. But anyway, that's our catch report today.
You got it. Again, sponsored in part by Job Site Supply, specializing in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades with lines like Milwaukee Electric Tools. Personally know these guys, Skeet and Dan, and all the guys at Job Site. They are fishermen. I bet
they're fishing today.
I'm sure. We talk to them absolutely once a week anyways in the tackle store. Really great guys, very good fishermen. They're hardcore anglers, and they're hardcore, and it's just as serious when it comes to giving you dependable job site delivery and the best in Milwaukee tools. Check out Job Site Supply Co. for more details. Great group of guys, and like I said, I know them, and certainly people that I would trust to in my business with.
No question about it. Let's go and jump back into those jam-packed phone lines, Rick.
You got it, man. How about we start this one off with Mike, who's calling us from Torrance this morning. Mike, hanging in there for us, and we sure appreciate you hanging on.
Hey, good morning, Kathy and Frank and Pete and Rick. How's it going today?
Great.
Good. Hey, I just want to thank you very much for providing a trip to Cedros. Cedros Adventures is a real class act. We went down there last Friday, and Jeff set up everything here, and he's out of Manhattan Beach, and we met the group over at the border. We flew down to Ensenada, and they went through our stuff with a fine-tooth comb. The military was very professional and courteous, and we flew over the island and had meals over there that were top-notch. We had lobster, we had carne asada and ribeye steak, and they took us out fishing on a 23 center console Mako boat. Javier was our captain. We caught not large quantities of fish, but like the other guy was saying, the quality was real good. Our top fish was 37. We got a lot of calico bass on the trip. Adrian is the owner of the company. He met us in Ensenada and made sure everything was taken care of on the way in and on the way out. We were driven down and back, so we didn't have to drive in Mexico at all. It just felt real safe and a place I'd bring my family. It's like a Cabo-style hotel, and I just want to thank Cedros Adventures and Let's Talk Hookup very much for the opportunity to go down there. And fishing's good here, fishing's good there. Lots of red crab down there.
Oh, man.
That's cool,
Such
Mike.
a great adventure.
Great
I'm looking forward to my trip at the end of this month. It's a sold-out trip, but I know our Cedros Adventures trip, which is the one on Cedros Island you want to go with. These are the class guys. They know what they started it. They know what they're doing, and they really do it better than anyone else. Rick has a trip, September.
Yeah.
That's going to be that actually has a couple spots available on it.
I know that there's at least a couple of spots, like a group. So if you got 2 or 3 guys, I know there's a few spots that are definitely still available, and it's a really fun trip. It's September the 7th through the 11th. It's a really fun opportunity, and like say, same deal. If you're into fishing, surface iron, local fishing, that's what we live and breathe. And
big
if
calicos
I can,
and it's an adventure too, being on the island with the local people. It's really fun.
And if I can help share that kind of, if you're into surface iron fishing, and by no means am I the expert, but if you want to pick my brain about it, I'd love to, get to go and, share anything that I know about it with anybody. It's a really fun time. It'll be a fun fishing opportunity, and highly encourage anybody who wants to come fishing with us.
If you want to go to our website, hookup1090.com. On our trips page, just click on the Cedros Adventures trip, September the 7th, and go along with Rick. Have a good time. Thanks a lot for the call this morning and the report, Mike. Appreciate that. And he won that trip right here on Let's Talk Hookup.
That's pretty darn cool, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Glad it worked out.
All right, Sam in Irvine, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Great fishing out there. My question I had is I had a real service to Ken's 30 International, and it was all milled out, but he wound line on it, put a loop connection on the end of it for me. And I'm wondering, because I've always just tied knots, what is the best, I would have been online looking at the Sato thing. How would you rig up that whole situation there?
Kathy?
Loop or?
Well, I would just do loop to loop with the Sato crimp on your connection. You have Spectra and your fluorocarbon or mono put together, and there's always a loop in the Spectra end of it. So you just loop it on. Some people do 1 loop, some people do 2, 3. I do 1.
You do 1.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
I haven't tested it, so I don't see I don't know for sure. But in my mind, a single loop I water skied, so a single loop was always stronger than doubling it up, and it has more of a chance to cut itself the more loops you take. So in my mind, a single loop is the best way to go.
Okay.
So, and how about just tying a 100-pound knot? Is like a Tony Pena knot? Or is loop-to-loop the way to go on that?
I don't know the Tony Pena knot that well.
Kind of like an Albright knot, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you either do a knot or you do a loop.
The only issue that you'll start to run into when you're talking about 100-pound and heavier is the size of the knot going through the guides. And if you're fishing bigger ringed guides or the bigger tip top, it means it's less of a problem. And 100-pound is still doable, but when you start tying 130-pound and bigger lines, it's just due to the physical size of the line, the knot size starts to become one of the issues that you have to deal with. And in the worlds of fishing 15-foot fluorocarbon top shots, that means that knot is going to be going through your guides during the cast. And if it's a real bulky knot that's ticking its way through the guide, sometimes it'll get hung up. And
yeah, you hate that, don't you, Frank?
Hate it.
Yeah. And here's the other issue or great thing about loop-to-loop connections. You can have all your pre-made wind-ons ready to go, whether you're using the Sato crimp, which is what we use, or you buy pre-made wind-ons. You're back in business if you want to change out that top shot in seconds. And it's seamless. There's no big knot going through, so...
Yeah, that big knot going through is just a nightmare.
You look at nothing worse than the fish taking the line out, taking it across your guides, and bringing it back.
Tick.
Yeah.
The beauty is, if you're on a boat like the Royal Polaris and you're not super comfortable with it, literally the very best people in the world at rigging gear will help. Can redo your gear for you every single night. So one, you don't have to be, but like Pete, you were saying, the beauty of those wind-ons is you don't have to know how to make the connections. You could purchase or have your tackle store make them ahead of time. I can't tell you.
You make a bunch of Sato crimp wind-ons for people, right?
All the time during that season, we get a call from a friend and a customer and a buddy says, "Hey, I'm going and can you make me 600 pounds and 630 pounds and 580 pounders and just having them a Ziploc ready to go?" And they come the morning of their trip and we hand them a bag. And then, just like Kathy said, you literally just pass one loop that's on your reel through the loop that's on your leader, tighten it up, and you go. There's no knots you need to worry about.
And nothing going through the guides that's going to click.
There's only one thing that I'd like to see you stop saying, and that is the word 80 pound.
Not really bad word.
It's no very, very bad.
Now we're not talking summer fishing. We're talking big fish fishing in the winter, right?
Big fish. Don't go in the water with 80
No
pounds.
place for it on the boat.
There's no place for it.
No.
Period.
Back in the day, though, Frank.
I know.
That was back in the deal, man.
We used to do 60 and 80 all the time.
I know.
80 was your nighttime fishing and 60 was your daytime. My first 200-pounder came on 60 because that's what we did.
Isn't that funny?
Could you imagine fishing 60-pound right now the way that things are? Can you imagine going back to that when you're anchored up at whatever your big fish spot of choice is and got especially a big bait and like all the things that just have become so obvious that it's just no longer a need.
No, literally 80 pounds is a bad word. It's a cuss word.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
All right. Hey, let's jump right back into the phones. This time we're going to talk to Kenny. He's calling us from Hawaiian Gardens. Hi, Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Hey, morning, everybody.
Hi, Kenny.
Hey, I have a question about a trip that's leaving tonight that a friend's going on. But first, Kathy, the ultimate RP knot, I'm using 50-pound braid, 20 and 30-pound fluorocarbon. How many turns up? How many turns back?
Well, the John Collins knot. It's always 5 and 5.
5 and 5?
Yeah, it's 5 and 5.
You don't need to go more, right?
No.
You only go more with light line.
Like 20-pound, 15-pound, you'd go, when we fish our bass gear, we use it, but we take a few more turns.
7 turns
in 10-pound line, but 7 turns. But, 5 up, 5 back on the John Collins knot. Works perfect in any pound.
Yep.
Okay, second question. I have a friend, and he's going out on a trip tonight, and I do believe it's with Brandon Hayward on a Parker, white sea bass, Channel Islands thing.
Very nice.
They'll be fishing all night. What's the ultimate sea bass rod for something like that? And we've seen pictures, and they're big fish they've been getting the last 2 days.
I think it just, the thing about sea bass fishing is it's so different depending on how you're catching them. And if you were talking about the ultimate squid and leadhead rod, it's a Therese, a Therese 80-foot medium heavy kind of thing, or an 800 XL, or the way that a lot of the fishing is now without the squid, it's big mackerel and it's heavy line and it's tight to a kelp edge where you're fishing super heavy gear and
Great Power Pro.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
A short top shot.
And short top shot meaning 3 or 4 or 5 feet of 60 or 80 pound fluorocarbon. So it really depends. But if you were picking an ultimate setup for that, it'd again probably be a Talica 12 with straight 60 or even 80 pound Power Pro.
They're not line shy at night.
No. And when they're biting big baits like that, it's not a finesse fishery at all. 6.5 to 8 foot rod. I like an 8 foot rod because it's a little bit longer. Sea bass, kind of a soft mouth. They have those big head shakes, so a longer rod absorbs some of that shock, and you're not on the fish long enough that a longer rod is really going to kill you. So something like that.
You bet. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great information. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I have had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Good morning, it's Whitney from Mammoth Lakes, California. Come on up, the water's fine, is what the Eastern Tier is touting. And in Mammoth Lakes, it's much more than just the water. This summer, our 4 lakes will be stocked with almost 16,000 pounds of healthy fighting trout. From fishing and biking to hiking and horseback riding, there's a legendary story waiting for adventurers of all ages in Mammoth Lakes. Start planning your next adventure at visitmammoth.com. That's visitmammoth.com.
It's time for our Power Pro 60-second seminar on your next fishing trip. Be sure to get the Power Pro Advantage. And you just heard it on the last call right there. The Power Pro Advantage when you're fishing in heavy structure, heavy kelp, is that straight Power Pro with a short top shot. And it's easy to tie, it's easy to use, and it works. So what I like doing is I like fishing that 80-pound Power Pro solid, the regular Power Pro, tying that John Collins or RP knot onto a piece of 60 or 50-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon, and that is your kelp cutter rig. And it works. When you fish that, when you have a big yellowtail, like you're fishing offshore and on a kelp or something like that, and that fish gets you in the kelp, you can feel that Power Pro just cutting right through that kelp, and then you land that fish. So check it out, the kelp cutter rig, and check out Power Pro at your favorite tackle store.
If you've heard the advice Scott Sherman from Fifth Avenue Insurance has given anglers over the past couple of years, you know there is much more to your boat insurance than just a low rate. Well, Fifth Avenue Insurance can not only find you the lowest rates on your boat insurance, they also make sure the coverage you get meets all your needs. What if you had an accident with the boat and found out you didn't have proper coverage? Well, that just won't happen when you insure with Fifth Avenue Insurance. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Fifth Avenue Insurance, 619-640-3130, or check the number 5 THAVEINS.com.
My Angler H2O. I will never use that fakey fluorescent pink bait or drag my hula popper through the mud. I will outmaneuver drought-exposed stumps, rocks, and submerged station wagons, and outsmart the ravenous river otter. I will save water by taking shorter showers for higher lakes, and I will always, always wear my life jacket.
What's your H2O? Tell us at BoatCalifornia.com. The California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways reminds you to wear it, California.
What a tuna and yellowtail season last year. Many say the best in 30 years. Could this season be even better? Don't be caught without the right gear. Now is the time to stock up on the trolling lure that proved to be the best. X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Every X-Rap Magnum runs perfect right out of the box. They all have extreme action and a controlled deep diving, aggressive swimming motion. The large diving lip partners with premium VMC hooks and an irresistible rattle. The X-Rap Magnum by Rapala can be trolled at high speeds without rolling or kicking out at depths to 15 feet. Bottom line, the X-Rap Magnum is the ultimate trolling lure for Southern California and Baja saltwater fishing. With a textured translucent body, internal holographic foil, and 3D holographic eye, X-Rap Magnums are irresistible to saltwater game fish. Available in a variety of colors and sizes. No matter what you choose, the fish can't resist X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Ask your local tackle dealer which is the hottest color and size and start catching more fish. See the entire line at Rapala.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
And I'll tell you what, the X-Rap Magnums, they are stopping the boats.
Oh, man.
So if you're on a private boat and you're not trolling Rapalas or Rapalas, whatever you want to call it, you're missing fish.
The X-Rap 20 in Bonita has been money lately. Yeah, it's been a really good one. Black and purple, that purple they call it
the
purple
20
mackerel,
or
but I like the 20. Yeah, that's just not the biggest one. The neck size down. It runs really straight. It runs fast. You don't have the metal bill anymore. You don't have to tune it. They're awesome, and they're good for me even when you freak out and forget that you have your trollers behind the boat and you see a spot of fish jumping up and you push the boat up around 10 knots and you look back and you realize you forgot to take the Rapalas out. They're still tracking straight. I love them.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, let's go up to Whalers Cove right now. Captain John is on the water, ready to tell us what's going on at that beautiful Whalers Cove in southeast Alaska. Morning, John.
Hi, John.
Well, good morning. Yesterday we had a phenomenal day. There was a 39.5-pound king brought in, as well as a whole bunch more. So our Kill Us New King contest keeps changing as far as second, third, and fourth place. Bottom fish on that tournament now is in the 30s. And we also had 5 halibut over 100 pounds yesterday. The biggest was released. It was 171. And we had a self-guider, Gene Shaw, brought in a 136-pound halibut. And that was quite the challenge for him and the biggest fish he's ever caught. We continue to have superb fishing, more kings than I've ever seen here on the outside coast. They're not having such a good year. On the inside here, we're having a phenomenal year. Lots of kings, and we're getting coho salmon. I had a 15 and a 14-pound coho this week. And we're seeing most of the coho in the 8 to 12-pound range. It's phenomenal.
Wow, that's early for the coho, too, right, John?
No, not so much early. They're just larger this year.
Oh, great.
We're doing exceptionally well on all of our species, and we're just having a great time. And we still have a couple of spots left. It's a little tight. We're booking now for 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a busy time up there. I know our trip in August, our Let's Talk Hookup Davis Boats trip in August has been sold out for almost a year. Our 2016 trip in August, we have 2 options. You can do 3 options, actually. You can do a 3-day, a 4-day, or a 7-day package with us in August. I know that's getting quite full. And Whalers Cove, such a wonderful place. You're fishing literally 10 minutes from the dock. And tell us about that self-guide thing. So you can actually use one of the Whaler Cove boats, and you can put the 100-pound to 100-pound halibut on the deck, right?
That's right. You can either go guided, fully guided, and we can keep halibut up to 42 inches on halibut per person, or if you go self-guided, we have 22-foot Boltons, and there's a 24. There's a fleet of self-guided boats, and you can go out there, and it's 2 halibut any size per person, self-guided, and then you don't have to worry about it. Now, I just want to mention, too, one of the 100-pound halibut yesterday was caught 5 minutes from the resort, right at that red can that I've showed you where all the sea lions hang out.
Yep.
100-pound halibut right there.
Right
so that's
there. Yeah.
Around the corner from the lodge. And for my perspective, I think the best trip is a week, because with a week you can target different species, you can go to different areas. This is a huge area. And with a week, you just don't have the pressure, yet you have the opportunity. You can do a freshwater day. You can go down to Russian Reef targeting rockfish and lingcod. You can go after halibut, and it's not going to be a problem getting your fish as far as the 150 pounds of fillets that you'll be able to take home on a week.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And also you have the freshwater options, too, and you get time to go up into the rivers. And August, that's the time of the year when those coho are thick in the rivers, right?
Oh, yeah, and that's the time that you also get to see the coastal brown bear. And the other day, some of our guests saw a blonde brown bear, and it was really a cool opportunity. And we've been seeing whales. The other day, I was trolling along the bluff, again, just around the corner from the lodge, didn't see any whales. I'm looking forward as I'm driving. We're just trolling for kings, and these whales bubble fed right in front of the boat. Well, it was phenomenal. You can't see whales like this anywhere else in the world. This is the number one place to see whales, and they don't affect your fishing. Yeah. Because they don't bother the salmon. It's not like orcas, but it's really cool here.
Must be why they call it Whalers Cove, huh?
That's correct. And if anybody's interested, they could give us a call at 1-800-423-3123 or go to whalerscovelodge.com. That's whalerscovelodge.com, and give the staff a call, and they can tell you what's open this year, next year, and the year after.
There you go. Captain John, you just reminded me I better book our 2017 dates because those things go quickly, so you better jump on it. You want to go to Alaska, you want to go to great places like Whalers Cove, get on it for 2016 and grab those last spots for 2015. Thanks, John, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
All right. Very good. That's kind of exciting.
Kind of. Are you kidding me? That's
awesome.
awesome.
My gosh, after your trip up to Kingfisher Charters, and then Whalers Cove for us coming in July in August. It's gonna be it's a good year all the way around.
Just cool to see
up and down the coast.
So much life, and it's just biting everywhere right now. That's a good thing. Well, the phones are packed solid. Let's jump back into the phones and talk to Tom, who's calling us from Linda Vista this morning. Hi, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi,
Tom.
Tom.
Hi. My question is about an overnight trip or a three-quarter day trip. I'm already rigged for 30, 40, and 50. The question is, should I even take a 20-pound rig?
Yes. If you get on a bluefin bite and they're 30 to 35 pound, or call them 25 to 35 pound fish, and they're touchy, you definitely want to go to your 20.
You have a favorite on that kind of thing, Kathy? You like a longer rod or a shorter rod when it comes to that kind of fishing? And how do you like to fill your reel? Is it all Spectra? Is it all mono, combo? What do you like to do?
I am short, and I don't like anything 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much for my height ratio. So I like a 7-foot rod. It seems to be the perfect rod, whether it's for calico bass or for 200-pound tuna. I like a 7-foot
rod all the time.
Yeah, and with 20-pound line, I like to just go straight mono.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 20-pound Spectra or something. You might put 65-pound, but why put that heavy a line out there when you're fishing 20? It just seems to float better and swim better.
And still a mono girl, right?
Always.
I would go the opposite. I would go with Spectra with a very short top shot.
And because it's going to fly line a little better?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Your bait's
thinner.
going to swim a lot better. I would go with a 3-foot top shot.
Okay. All right.
Frank, you said something a long time ago that I've always done, or that I picked up on and really like, and it's kind of hard to visualize on the radio, but with your long soaking of bait on the back of the sport boat, if you can get your rod up in the air higher, meaning you almost point the rod tip to the sky. Yep. The entry point of the water, the entry point where your line enters the water no longer is 10 feet in front of you, it's 100 feet in front of you. So you think
Sometimes you even raise your arms up.
Yeah, so if you think about the amount of drag that's now in the water, it's reduced by a ton because just the angle that the line goes into the water.
Just watch your bait swim so much better.
It's crazy what a difference that is.
How much belly there is in the line, right?
Well, it's just a question of that if you hold your rod high or up, you usually that bait is only dragging 12 inches of line.
Yeah.
All the rest is out of the water.
Out of the water. Yeah.
It just makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Part of fishing on a sport boat is you are competing for a bite against the 15 or 20 guys next to you. So if your bait looks that much better, your odds of getting a bite are better each time. And, you do those little things, and every little thing adds up to a big thing.
It helps you stay out of a tangle, too, because you can see your bait, see where it is. You're not just sitting there talking to the guy next to you. You're paying attention, and it really helps you not get cut off.
And I don't look at it as competing with another angler. I just look at it as it's the right bait. It's the bait that's going to swim good. And, fish aren't always going to eat every bait in the water.
That's right.
But a bait that is swimming faster for some reason usually attracts the bite.
Okay.
So
and a fresh bait.
Yeah. Well, now here we go again.
Okay. Long soak versus
the worst thing that I whenever I hear a deckhand say, "Hey folks, change your bait as often as you can." Oh God. That is an inexperienced deckhand because it's the soak.
It's the soak.
And it's amazing. I mean, we've talked about this before. Why so many of our anglers on the Royal Polaris, and I think everywhere now, have gone to the hook in the nape of the neck. Okay. Because the bait lasts longer. It swims forever. And you just think about it. When we put a kite up and we have two baits hooked in the neck, you can leave that sardine out there and he's splashing water for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So changing your bait is not always a good thing.
Okay.
And like
but what about the right bait, though? That's important.
Of course, the right bait is important. But how do you choose the right bait on a long-range boat? They're all right.
They're all good.
That's a very good problem.
Right? Yeah. It's true.
So,
Yeah. So the soak is
the soak's important unless
right?
they're eating the bottom of the boat out. Then you obviously, if you're soaking, something's wrong. Okay. But if everybody's got one and you don't have one, well then it's time to change your bait. All right.
Good call.
All right. Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
How about Bob calling us from Dana Point up next on Let's Talk Hookup? What's up, Bob? Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Thank you. Hi guys. Let's talk about the good old days. In 1950, I go out of Pier Point Landing and with sardines, and I'm up in the wheelhouse, and we see some bluefin jumping in the mid-channel, and they say tail hook. So I go tail hook my 6-foot steel wire leader with a 6 hook on it, and I stick the thing in the tail somewhere because I don't know what tail hooking is, and I catch 2 10-pound bluefin tuna, and I'm ecstatic. Now the real fun's going out of Dana Point on a twilight and getting 10, 30-pound bluefin tuna. The Seaforth's getting those bluefins. I get on the San Diego the other day. We get 186 yellowtail. I think that's great. Then they catch 290 the next day, and these are the good old days.
Exactly.
Very, very well put. And I think it's beautifully put, and I wish to God we could get that through to the California Fish and Game and to some of the environmental groups that are beating us down trying to keep us from fishing, because it's ridiculous.
It is. Absolutely. Bob,
But
very
thank
good
you. That was
point.
a very good
Very
statement.
well put. Thanks a lot for the call. And Bob's seen it. So
yeah, Bob Wolfson's been around
He's
the
been
rail
around.
a time or two.
Indeed. Thanks, Bob. Nice to hear from you. Appreciate the call.
Sylvia in Santa Barbara, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, first of all, I just want to say I wasn't able to get through last weekend. I just want to wish you a red, white, and blue happy 4th of July. Red snapper, a white sea bass, and bluefin tuna.
Nice.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Hey, we're going to Catalina, and we're going to go sail, and I've been listening to fish reports, and I'm excited. I caught a yellowfin or a yellowtail back in November here with live bait, and this question is for Kathy. I was just wondering, and maybe it's not with knots or anything, but we used live bait, and I was wondering, we're probably not going to have live bait. If we don't, what's a good option to use to catch any kind of yellowtail in Catalina right now?
Well, if you don't have live bait, I would go with a jig. It'd be, the most logical to me to, if you can't use squid, you can't use any kind of live bait, a mackerel or anything, yeah. Just take some great jigs.
And it would be a
And
yo-yo.
Which one would you recommend? I mean, I know that's the option, but which one?
Well, I would do a 6X, Salis 6X, or a 7X, depending on if you're going to go on the surface or down deep.
How about that?
The flat
Colt
fall.
Sniper and the flat fall.
Yeah, I think I would, if you didn't have live bait, I think I would get a couple of Rapala type baits, a swimming plug, an X-Rap type Rapala, and troll around outside the kelp line to try and get yourself located. Keeping your eye open for any type of sign that would alert you to fish being there, whether it be birds or bait or good current, things like that. And I would troll or Rapala to get yourself located, and then once there, cast, the various surface swimming style jigs, like I said, a Salis 7X or exactly a Colt Sniper, a flat fall, something along those lines.
There you go, Sylvia. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. Appreciate that.
All right. How about next up, we talked to Rod calling us from Pacific Beach this morning. Good morning, Rod. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rod.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great. Good morning.
First-time caller and new listener as well, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for everything you guys do and giving us the tips and educating us on these little things as in tying a knot to what pole to use. My question is regarding fly lining for yellowtail. I noticed that some people just have a hook, and then some people have a hook with a egg weight on top. What do you guys prefer, and is there an advantage to one or the other?
Great question.
Well, there is an advantage at times. I prefer fly lining because it's much more fun. On the other hand, there's a lot of times that you'll find that if you're after a bigger yellow, the idea of a slider works quite well. If you're using green mackerel for a bait, I think the idea of a slider is good. And if the fish aren't boiling at all and you're fishing deeper water, it all depends where you're fishing, then a slider can be very, very effective. So it just depends on the situation. But when you have boiling fish around, I would stay with a fly line. When you don't have very many fish boiling around and you're in, let's put it this way, I would say if I was in over 20 fathoms of water, the slider works good. Now, Booger on the San Diego, it's amazing what he does because he gets quite a few rent rods. And you know what he does with all the rent rodders? He ties on an 8-ounce sinker and dropper loops them all.
Really? 8 ounce.
Dropper loops them all. Meanwhile, the guys fly lining.
Fishing for yellowtail on the surface.
Meanwhile, the guys are fly lining and doing surface iron, all the regular customers, but the beginners all go with a dropper loop. He tries every one of them.
Really?
And he says it works phenomenal. He says we have beginning anglers catching 5 yellowtail a day on a dropper loop.
Wow. There you go.
So it just goes to show you that a lot of times you're fly lining and you could be just as successful going deep.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call this morning.
Doug in Montebello, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning, Doug.
Hi. A question about any one of these boats. Some of the boats that you talk about, they roll. What does that mean, and what's actually causing the boat to roll?
Some boats are built such that they roll more than other boats. Some boats ride better than other boats. Some boats take the quarter C better. Some boats take the head-on C better. It just depends on the vessel, and they all roll a little differently. I mean, I could go into specific examples, but, and a lot also depends on the weight of the boat. I know it always amazes me about the Royal Polaris. I will see other boats we're coming up the coast, and it's rough, and I'm watching that boat take water clear over the top of the house, and we won't even take it over the anchor. Okay,
Royal Polaris is a sweet ride.
It's just an amazing.
So nice.
And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of times we roll, and depending.
It's a big ocean.
The ocean.
Depending, one of the worst courses you can have. I mean, the only way you get a beautiful ride from the 23 or from the 13 to Aleos is if it's flat, calm. That's the only way you're going to get a beautiful ride because it's a quarter C, and if it's 15 knots. You're going to roll.
Because it's on the side, right?
It's just you're quartering it, and it's upsetting.
No rhythm.
It's going to happen.
I know. I was telling Andy just the other day. He was talking about he was going to stay one more day on the 13 and go out to Aleos, and it was supposed to be windy that day. And I said, "Well, you're going to pay a price." And he said, "Yeah, well, we'll just have to suffer."
Sure enough,
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why they have cup holders on boats.
I guess. By the way, we don't have any paper cups anymore on the Royal Polaris.
No?
No. We give everybody a nice insulated cup
cool.
with the insignia on it.
Nice.
And
hot cold cup. Coffee or soda.
Either way.
And
very nice.
And the soda's free. There's
Good
a
for the
few other
environment
boats
and
that do that
yeah.
too, but it's made a tremendous difference in the amount of trash.
I'll bet.
So you have a soda fountain type thing for the... No kidding.
That's
cool.
nice. Good
yeah,
idea.
Very cool.
Now, Doug, if you know, when you buy your multi-million-dollar yacht, they do make these gyroscopic stabilizers now that they put. I think somebody told me they just put one in their yacht that was $150,000 to put in.
Upwards of that.
It's like a giant gyro that sits on your boat, and you turn it on, and it stabilizes the boat. So when you buy your $2 million, $3 million yacht, Doug, you can put one of those.
Yeah, when you
$2
put that,
million.
when you
mean
put
your $20 million.
$20 million. Okay.
When you put your Seakeeper in, holler. I'll call.
Yeah, that's
no problem.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right. Hey, let's jump back. We're going to talk to Mario from Rancho Cucamonga. Hey, Mario, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. I just wanted to update you with a little fish report. I went out of Mission Bay last week with a buddy. He took his boat, I took mine, and we just kind of buddy boated up to 302, 226, and the fishing was pretty good. There's a lot of kelp out there. We hooked some yellowtail, yellowfin, and for me, first time hooking a marlin in my boat, which was sweet on 30 pounds. Unfortunately, after 20 minutes, I farmed it. And then my buddy hooked another one.
Oh, wow.
Big man.
Wow.
How
cool.
It was really fun.
And this is July. They're not supposed to be here till September.
That's
this
what I'm
is
talking about.
Early July.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. That's a great story.
I don't know whether
Mario.
you know it, but Rick and Doug both love fishing those sharks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
We love it.
I know. It's just, some people like it. I like it down in the East Cape because you see a lot of them, but it could be like that up here this year. There could be a bunch of them up here this year. Come on, Frank.
Joy.
To me, it's a joy of a one-time experience. Once you've caught one, you've caught every one of them.
But
I love it.
It's the hunt, Frank.
I know.
You give me a pair of binoculars, a mackerel in the tank, and find a tailor to run up and cast a mackerel to it. I'll do that all day long. I'll do that every day for the rest of my life.
I used to do that when I was a kid all the time, and I loved it. But God, I guess I'm
just over it, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks a lot for the call and the good report there, Mario.
Hey, when we come back, we got to give away a trip on the San Diego. How about that? Somebody's going fishing with Captain Ryan Bosch, and we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Mighty 1090.
Here's what clients are saying about Rick Jensen and the Sport Fishing Financial Group.
My name is Jerry Farmer, and I live here in San Diego. Rick Jensen has successfully managed investments for me for the past 15 years. Before Rick, I worked with financial advisors that led me into bad investments and hid kickbacks they were receiving on the investments. Rick has demonstrated through his attentiveness to my account a great feeling of responsibility to do well for his clients. With Rick, his compensation is reasonable and clear, as are the benefits for the client. For the past 15 years, the cost-benefit ratio has been greatly in my favor.
After learning about Rick and his background and what he's done for his clients, I'm on board. I just opened my own account with Sport Fishing Financial, and I'm very excited about the opportunity.
This is Rick Jensen with Sport Fishing Financial Group. Work with me and learn what I can do for you as an investment advisor, and let's go fishing. Give us a call or find us on the web for a complimentary risk analysis, current portfolio analysis, or business retirement plan proposal. Call 949-481-1807 or visit us at sportfishingfinancial.com.
Are you feeling that itch to get out on the water? Come fishing on the American Angler and reacquaint yourself with some familiar faces and make new friends. Captain owners Brian Kiyohara and Sam Patella take pride in every aspect of the American Angler operation, from their loyal and trusted crew to the sashimi-grade fresh fish you'll take home. It's easy to find a vacation that fits your schedule. We have everything from day and a half to 10-day trips and longer. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. We want you to become a part of the American Angler family.
You've made the investment in a boat, and you know how important it is to take good care of it. That's why you need Monsoon Yacht Service. Mark and his staff specialize in taking care of your boat and making it look its best. No matter if it's on a trailer or in a slip, let Monsoon Yacht Service clean and polish your boat to make it look like new. Monsoon Yacht Service also does fiberglass and gel coat repair, custom rigging, and the best detailing you have ever seen. Be proud of your boat again with the help of Monsoon Yacht Service. 619-405-2176 or check monsoonyachtservice.com.
No matter the fishing conditions, count on the Seagar family of fluorocarbon leader material to help you catch more fish. Fluoro Premier has a smaller diameter with the highest break strength. Plus, it is super soft. When bites are tough, tie on Fluoro Premier. Blue Label is tough as nails with incredible abrasion resistance. resistance and impact strength. And new Pink Label is the choice for tough light conditions, giving you a little more visibility for better line control. Pick up a spool of Seagar at your favorite tackle dealer or visit Seagar.com.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Padres are playing some kind of baseball.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. The big winner of the 3/4-day trip aboard the San Diego at a C4 Sport Fishing is going to Rod in Pacific Beach. Rod, congratulations. You are going to love fishing with Ryan and the boys.
Indeed. Frank, parking survey now at all 3 landings in San Diego, correct?
In front of H&M Sport Fishing, Fisherman's Landing, and Point Loma, there will either be a table or a counter where you can pull a form that will be there. You simply put your name on it and indicate there will be several choices where you parked. Did you park in the landing parking lot? Did you park on Harbor Drive? Did you park in the neighborhood, up in the neighborhoods? Wherever it was you parked, please indicate so. We are trying to get to a situation where we can get a parking garage or just more parking. Let's put it that way.
If they give input, it's going to help our parking situation.
It's going to prove we have a problem.
We have a problem.
The Port of San Diego does not believe we have a problem.
Oh, my. Are they blind?
No, they feel that we are adequately parked. They don't believe
it. True.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we need to convince them. Until we convince them, we're not going to get more parking.
All right.
When we convince them, we will get more parking.
So when you see the landings, you see the forms or ask for where it is, fill it out. It'll help us. It will
help them. It will help everybody.
It'll help everybody. So do that. And in the meantime, we want to come down and go fishing on the Royal Polaris, the Shogun. How do we do that?
619-226-8030 or go to our website, shogunsportfishing.com, royalpolarissportfishing.com. Plenty of info.
You bet. Thanks, Frank. Thanks Kathy, for coming in.
Kathy. Thanks for having
Great show. Great show tomorrow. Captain Mike Hansen and Captain Brian Woolley from Dana Wharf Sport Fishing will be right here in the Mighty 1090 studios with Rick and myself. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you tomorrow morning right back here on the Mighty 1090.